You know what? I was out all day in the sun. It is so hot. I mean, I cannot even tell you how hot it is. It's extremely hot. It's very hot. You know what? I think we should replace this expression, it's hot, with some better expressions, right? Like, I mean, there are some days where you're like perspiring, like I am right now, but you have no better expression, correct? But don't worry, I've got some funny ways and some creative ways to help you say that it is hot when you're talking about the extreme hot weather. Okay, what are they? Let's have a look. You could say it's stifling. Now, when do we use this phrase, it's stifling? The word stifling refers to feeling like you are choking because there is not enough of air. This happens in very humid weather. So where I live, the weather is pretty stifling when it's, at the peak of summer. That's when I will say it's stifling, not stifling, it's stifling. Or you could say it's sizzling. In places like Dubai, for example, it is actually sizzling. Where does this expression come from? The word sizzle, the verb sizzle, means that something is on the stove and it's kind of getting so hot that if you touch it, you've got to take your hand away from it. And believe me, in places like that, it is actually sizzling. That's when you use this expression. Or you could say it's burning, which is another expression, which is another way to say that it is sizzling. Now, the other expression which is very, nice that you could use is sweltering. Now, sweltering again refers to people who are living in a humid weather. They could use this word because in this weather, it's not only humid, but you feel very sticky. Okay? So like I said, today I got out of the car and in 2 minutes, I felt all sticky and I was perspiring and it was really humid. So for me, I should have said it's sweltering. Or you could say it's scorching. Now, scorching obviously means extreme heat. In some places where the weather conditions are extreme, it can be so hot that you could simply say it's scorching, which means you can't even touch something. Or you could say it's steamy. Now, I don't know if you've seen steam rising out of anything that is being cooked, but when steam rises up, what happens? You perspire, but it's almost like you feel the heat. You can see the heat coming up from a surface. And that's practically how you sometimes feel when it is extremely hot. So that's when you will say it's steamy. Now, there are two expressions that I'm going to talk about them together. You could say it's sultry or it's tropical. Now, I don't know if you have heard about a place called the equator. Okay, the equator is somewhere, where it is the hottest. So places where the weather is so hot, they are called the tropical areas of the world. Now, you may not be living near the equator, but if the weather gets that hot, like as if you are near the equator, you could say it's sultry or it is tropical. Okay, these are two different ways to say it. This is used many times in places where when people travel on vacation and in many other ways. Okay, so these are some expressions, but I want to give you some phrases. How about saying the weather is as hot as an oven? We all know that we use the oven to make our food hot, and the weather can sometimes feel as hot as an oven. Or some people use a very funny expression and say, we're in the dog days of summer. Now, I'll tell you what, this expression comes from the fact that during the summer, dogs like to kind of take a dip in the water and shake themselves out of the water once they've taken a nice dip. And that's how we feel like, right? Like I want to sometimes just take a dip. Why is that? Because we are practically in the dog days of summer. Or you could say, I could fry an egg on the hood of the car. That's true. In some places, the weather is so hot that the surface of the hood of the car is so hot that you could literally drop an egg and you could actually make an omelette. Don't try it, but that could actually happen because the weather is so hot. Or you could say, the heat is unrelenting. The word unrelenting means it does not give up. When you don't give up, which means you don't want to stop being the way you are. So sometimes the weather is unrelenting. It does not stop getting hot. And that's when you say the heat is unrelenting. Or you could say the heat is getting to me. It's true. Sometimes when it's too hot, it can really affect your mood. And that's when you say the heat is getting to me. Some people say, I'm sweating like a hog. This is like an expression. It's a very funny expression, but people use it informally. Don't use it like in the office if you don't have to. So simply say, I'm sweating like a hog. Now, hogs don't really sweat, but this is an expression that is kind of funny and people use it. But if you want to use some more creative and funny expressions, you could say, I want to stick my face in a deep freeze. Believe me, I don't think anybody would disagree with me if I say something like this, because a deep freeze is the best place to want to be in when the weather is sweltering or scorching. So you could use this expression. Some people say, the heat's about to drive me crazy. Like I said, sometimes your mood gets affected because of the heat. Mine does, and that's when I say, the heat's about to drive me crazy. This weather makes me want to move up to the mountains. It's true. A lot of us do not live in places which are close to the mountains, but when you live near the mountains, you mostly experience cool weather. Well, some of us are not so fortunate. That's when we can say, this weather here in Mumbai where I live, it makes me want to move up to the mountains. Yeah, it's true. Or you could say, it's like getting punched in the face with a sauna. How many of you have had a sauna bath? A sauna is a great experience because you have this nice steamy bath, and we know the word steamy, right? What was the word steamy all about? It was about feeling the air, the steam or the heat rise above the surface. So when the weather is so hot, you feel like you are literally in a sauna, which is not a good sauna, okay? So that's when you can say, it's like getting punched in the face with a sauna. Or you could simply say, it's like a furnace outside. A furnace is a place where a furnace is a place that is used to heat, to warm up the house or a certain area. And if the weather is too hot, you should simply say, damn, it's really like a furnace outside. So these are the really creative and funny expressions to say it's hot. Believe me, if you use these expressions, your English will sound more native-like because these are really good expressions that native English speakers use. Okay, so next time when it's hot, don't say it's hot or don't say it's extremely hot. Try using any of these expressions and you will have fun with it. Okay, I'll be back with some more lessons. Keep learning and keep taking care of yourself. Have a lovely day. Bye.